This facility actually encompasses two missions. You're standing on the operations floor, and then along the outside we have offices for investigators and teams that needed room. We were out of room downtown, so we have two projects here. But the facility itself, all encompassing, is $4.5 million.
Is it going to be manned 24/7 or only during critical events, or how do you determine what rises to a level to activate full?
Yeah, very good question. First off, we are not 24/7. Right now we are in a learning phase. We're working slowly to become real familiar with all the equipment, all the policies, and be able to excel at what we do. So we're still on the day shift for right now. We anticipate in March we'll get to about 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. We'll maintain that operational tempo for a while and we'll evaluate it. We'll see what we need to do. If we're needed longer than that, then we will find a way to do it.
How are you able to access all of the cameras so that there's so many
Yeah.
applications? I know that might be like a high-tech kind of question.
It's honestly, the simple answer is there are plenty of companies that just invest in the technology for you. We do our research, we go visit other locations and ask them how they like their technology, does it work for you? And then we incorporate what works for us. But really the technology controls it for us. If you look at the center screen in the back, that's our main screen. That brings everything together on one plate and allows us to not have to continually open and close different tabs and keep moving around. So you do your research on software and you purchase what works for you.
Obviously, you have access to the police cameras, right? And you've got cooperation from other agencies. But who else is involved? I thought I heard schools. We saw schools.
Yes.
So, and how does what you do here differ than what they do at the Regional Operations Center during a major event?
At which center?
Or the one on Scottsville Road?
The Office of Emergency Management, the EOC? Yeah, there is. That's a very good question. So we talked earlier about MCAC, the Crime Analysis Center. Very important tool for us. They review the information, they figure out what's important, they analyze it, and they send it to us. This center here actually takes action and solves the problems. And then as the EOC gets activated, now they're a part-time facility, so they only activate during a critical incident. We take the results of our actions and what we find out on the streets, and we send it to the EOC. That allows those managers and the county executive and the mayor to make the critical decisions based upon the on-the-ground information that we're sending them. What we can fix, what we can't fix, where we need help. That all goes to the EOC and they help us in whatever way they can.
Can you talk to us about the map that's behind you? What are some of the different symbols that we're
Sure.
seeing? How does that
So-
work? What is it playing?
As I mentioned, that technology brings a lot of resources onto one screen for us. So you're looking at icons that reflect cameras, they reflect alarm systems, they reflect fire stations, EMS stations. We can put schools on there. We can add a layer that shows us traffic situations all across the county. So during a blizzard, we could open that layer up and it would show us what roads are congested, where there's problems. We can direct deputies that direction. It also shows us the locations of our patrol cars. When a deputy exits the patrol car and goes out on foot, it shows a different icon for a deputy on foot versus the patrol car. We then can launch a drone to that location just by clicking on that screen. The drone pilots will take up positions on each end and they'll fly those drones right from this center. So when the drone pilot sees information that's critical to those deputies on the ground, all they have to do is turn to the person next to them and tell them what they see, and we push that out over the radio right away. We can even send it to the computers in the cars or to their department cell phones. We can share that information real time. When a deputy draws a taser, maybe they're in a confrontation with someone and they draw the taser from the holster, it will ring an alarm up here and it will tell us, Deputy so-and-so at this location just drew their taser. Now, without the deputy having to use their radio, we know right away that somebody's in trouble and we probably better get some backup headed in that direction. If a deputy doesn't answer their radio, we can access their body-worn camera and view the video live right here. then get on the radio and tell all the other deputies that are rushing to that scene what's going on. That's critical information, right? You're going into an emergency and you have no idea what you're pulling up to unless a center like this is on the other end of the radio telling you what we see. We launch a drone, now we got 2 different angles of the scene. We can give you all that information. You can make a plan on how you're going to approach and solve that problem.
Does it tap into body-worn cameras?
It does. So that's what I was referring to. If you don't answer your radio, you pull a car over and all of a sudden you're not answering your radio, we're trying to get in touch with you. Are you in trouble? We don't know. So we can access that video, that live video from your camera. We can put it up on the screen and tell everybody what's actually going on because you might not be able to talk. That's essential for officer safety. It's just a huge step forward for us.
The gentleman from DCEJS, are there other operation centers like this across the state? Where does this sort of stack up to what other communities across New York are using?
So no community has something of this kind of scale that I'm aware of. The Crime Analysis Center network, we were just talking about this a few minutes ago. We have 11 centers, including in New York City. And a lot of times we're turning over the intelligence to just one department to kind of follow up on. And here we're going to be turning the intelligence over to a variety of departments that are all working together with one shared operational picture. In places in the eastern part of the state, sometimes they'll use the Crime Analysis Center right now as an ad hoc ops center. But this is the first dedicated facility that we're aware of to kind of bring people together to turn that intelligence into action. Other places do it on a more mobile basis or on a more ad hoc basis. So excited to see this become a new model.
Are these deputies cross-trained? Like, I see some working with drone footage, some with body cam. Is it all cross-platform sort of thing?
It is, yes. Really, now remember, we're in our beginning stages, right? So what we're doing is we're selecting our personnel based upon their experience. So we may have people that are very good at operating some of these features. They're very good at being a police officer on the streets, right? They know what it's like. So we bring them down here because of their experience, but you know what? They're also a drone pilot because they do that on the road also. And now, if they need to, they can just move over one seat and fly that drone in a time of emergency. So cross-training is very important to us. We can't staff this with as many people as we would like to, right? We have to be responsible. So cross-training is very important.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you anticipate needing to hire more people to serve here? And how many will be here full-time versus have joint
Yeah, so right now the number's around 12, a dozen people here full-time. As the chief said, our goal is 24/7 if needed. You know, the operational tempo will tell us if we need someone from 0400, 4 o'clock in the morning to 7 in the morning. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. We don't want to overcommit. We want to learn as we go. One of the things I think is very important is it's not just all police officers. There's trained analysts behind us right now, looking at that information, that missing person that we displayed earlier. You know, does she have friends? Are there other people that she's been stopped with by police officers in the past? Does she have a best friend at school, and we can start running that person's plate and see what their best friend's car looks like? There's a lot of opportunity to analyze all this information and not just capture it, analyze it, then push it out to the real time to the police officers. That's a force multiplier, as we keep on saying that term. Having these folks just analyzing it in real time and then sending it down to the Crime Analysis Center for a deeper dive into a particular piece of information. Or how does that connect to something in Syracuse? How does that connect to something in Buffalo? That's what the Crime Analysis Center, going back and forth, two-way direction here with this information. But the analyst part is a huge part of this too, something different that we're doing here.
Do you anticipate this being copied elsewhere in the state?
I mean, I would say that we're in the position to provide data and dollars to drive positive change. I would love to see how this goes and also learn from it. If I know law enforcement, they're a competitive bunch. So I think we'll probably see an interest in trying to replicate these kind of operations and really turning this intelligence into action. So excited for the future and excited to be a part of it.
One last money question. So we saw how much it costs to put it all together, but operationally year to year, does that fall on the sheriff's department alone, or do all of the agencies pay in?
So it is a sheriff's department endeavor when it comes to that. Look, we're fortunate. We have a very forward-thinking agency here. We've got cooperation from all levels of government. We've got cooperation from the public. So we're in a position where we can provide something like this, especially as a resource to those smaller agencies that just wouldn't be able to duplicate this. So that's why you may be able to see some of it now over my shoulder, is that we're working for some of those smaller agencies also, providing them the same support that we provide our deputies. You asked a question about, do we see this in other places? Right now, there's approximately 480 of them across the country, and they're growing quickly because of the success that everyone sees. The speed of solving an investigation and the safety that it provides to those first responders is just immense. And you know, everybody else is using technology. It's about time we start doing that also, and it saves that sweat and that hard work from those first responders that are out on the street every day. It helps them. Any way we can help them, that's our focus here. Before we end, if you look at the back screen, our critical information requirements, that's what these members of the Sheriff's Office are dedicated to focusing on every day. If you look at that, any type of emergency that would fit on that chart, they are focusing on. And if one of those occurs, they know that it goes up the chain. Everyone focuses on solving that issue and putting all our resources towards that.
Give one technology, just real quick, I got to share one war story. We had a M&T bank robbery in Sweden, about a year ago? $500,000 stolen in a bank robbery, very unusual. Where our license plate readers are already stationed or going to be stationed, that getaway car that we already had a plate on would have been captured 3 different times before it reached the Four Corners in Hamlin, where we eventually grabbed it. That's the technology working for us, real time. We can literally track people as they move across our community, and that's how we solve crimes, right? Information. It's going to be very powerful when we get this information up and running as quick as possible. But it's just another example of, by the luck of a good Samaritan out there seeing something suspicious in Hamlin and calling us, we were able to recover $500,000 within an hour of the bank robbery. Now technology will obviously be that force multiplier we've been dreaming about.
We just saw a weapon draw.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yep. So
gonna
weapon
deputize
draws,
you.
the alerts, right? That's great. What if the deputy all of a sudden has a radio problem? What if there's a struggle and they can't get on their radio? We know already something's going on. We can start backup. We can log into their cameras. We can tell that backup exactly what they're getting into. It's really important, and we're just scratching the surface of this, and we're really excited about the changes that it can bring.